Nancy and Steve attend a house party where Nancy gets so drunk that she tells Steve what she really thinks of him and his grand plan to keep their mouths shut.
Elle is extremely lonely in the cabin and wants to go trick-or-treating. Hopper compromises with her and promises he'll come home early to eat candy and watch movies if she just stays hidden. That makes her halfway happy and uses some of the downtime to watch TV and psychically visit Mike.
The boys dress up as Ghostbusters and invite the new girl Max trick-or-treating. Mike wasn't happy about it and nearly ruins the best day of the year for his friends by being a grump. While they're out, Will has another frightening vision, and Mike takes him home where he confesses that he's had visions of his own. Visions of Elle.
Hopper learns of the great pumpkin scourge of '84 that's currently happening in Hawkins and goes to investigate. He finds entire farms as well as the woods completely covered in rot. It's so disturbing that he completely forgets his promise to Elle. Welcome to Dungeons and Demogorgons, the officially unofficial podcast for Stranger Things on Netflix. I'm Jim.
I'm A.Ron.
And we just got done watching Season 2, Episode 2, titled Chapter 2, Trick or Treat, Freak. It's a pretty good title.
Not a nice thing to yell at a child who's mysteriously abducted for several days last year.
Or to get your Halloween costume on, go out at night, and jump into Zombie Boy's face and yell, "Fuck you, Zombie Boy," or whatever they said.
Yeah, Hawkins is overrun with assholes.
Pretty rough. Yeah, what'd you think of this episode?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it, and again, how we said this a lot about season 1 too, but it's moving really briskly through.
Yeah.
I also liked that the episode. I felt like it had a lot of heart. Like I really felt for Elle in the position she's in, and the loneliness of Mike and her, and a lot of the questions I raised last episode, like who knows and what do they know and why aren't they talking? Like you can see how it's wearing on Nancy, and keeping the secret from Barb's poor parents are. I mean, it's fucked up their head so bad they're actually thinking about voting Democrat nationally in Indiana. that doesn't happen either. So
do the Democrats have the pumpkin rot problem solved?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think Dukakis Mondale actually is causing it.
You think so?
But no, I thought it was great. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought the same. I continue to marvel at how engaging this show is, and maybe it's just me, but I find it that way. They, like you said, seem to be moving really briskly, and the way that at first I thought, okay, is this going to be the Elle episode? They never seem to really do that. They always blend everybody's stories in seamlessly, and oftentimes they're discovering things that are important to the plot in ways that relate to other storylines that are happening at the moment, and I think they are just really, really good story crafters.
I think it's a mark of a good storyteller and a confident storyteller that they can tell a story straightforward without much in the way. Like, there's a little bit of flashing back to fill in the context of what happened, like how Elle got to where she's at now.
Oh,
but,
right.
You're right. I was like, okay, I'm up for a single focus Elle episode, but I didn't have to worry about it. And that shit works. Like sometimes, like Mr. Robot just pulled off a pretty compelling Tyrell Wellick episode, which I never thought possible. And I've seen that in other shows, but boy, it's a lot easier for it to go wrong than right. And also, it's a technique that seems like it hides a lot of flaws, and
especially with the momentum this show has, you can really see that just being totally drained from the show if they went off and did like a singular episode on a focus.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Speaking of questions that were answered, I think one of the questions you had is what the hell happened with Mike's parents? Why don't they seem to be giving him any latitude? And like right off the bat, you get the answers to those questions.
Is it compelling?
For the most part, you get the answer to the question, do they know? Yes, they know. They seriously don't give a shit, though. Like, they're not letting him off the hook for anything because of it.
So do they know that they think that Elle is a Russian experiment or agent?
Yes.
And did they know that, like, she had been shacking up at their house for several days? Like
that I'm not sure about.
I'm a little unclear, too, because I think what the disconnect may be, because else Mike's parents are kind of horrible, is they don't understand that Elle and Mike were like legit friends.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do, and they're being, Red Scare era Americans, and like, God damn it, son, it's a Russian whore you're out running around with, and you got to stop all that.
I can see his dad being that way, but his mom seemed a little bit more of a human being.
Yeah, but I mean, like imagine, I'm trying to think of like, I mean, I'm just so far out of my performance envelope, but let's say that like Jack was harboring fucking Al Qaeda or ISIS terrorist.
Okay. Yep.
For 3 or 4 days.
An 11-year-old.
And the federal government came in and the CIA laid down all this evidence of what a ruthless killer and how the ISIS is sending these children into communities to cause all this mayhem. And there's so many police killed and like all these and I mean, I might, and then like if Jack starts like, Dad, this guy wasn't so bad or this girl wasn't so bad, I'd be like, God damn it, son, if I hear one more piece of terrorist apologia out of your mouth, because I guess, but it's hard for me because like I grew up in an era of like no American really trusts their government.
Yeah.
Like that shit's kind of sailed post Vietnam, post Iraqi intelligence failures. Like it's like
except in the Wheeler household. It's still alive and well.
Well, I was saying in the
Mike's
80s,
dad.
this is the height of the cold. This is the well, I guess not the height. This is like the crescendo, the final act, and then, until the return. In like the 80s era American, like I could see parents being like that and being horrified that their child's like trying to defend it.
Sure, they're not privy to the true story, which we have.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I feel like Mike and Will are really on a ledge here because like I said last episode, Lucas and Dustin are really they're moving on. They're wanting to befriend this girl and they've got other interests, and it just doesn't seem like it's as important.
Sure.
And it's weird because now Will. That leads me to exploration of like why is Will being such an asshole? I'm sorry. I get Will and Mike constantly confused.
Yeah, Mike's
why
being
is
a
Mike
huge
being
grump.
such a prick in this episode?
I mean, he's a sad sack because of his experience with Elle. I mean, he misses Elle. So this is interesting to me because it's an inverse of what happened last season, where Elle came into the group, Mike gave her all the attention, Lucas got jealous, and they came to blows.
And Mike made a whole bunch of calls that not everybody was in on.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the same thing is happening to him with the added wrinkle that the new girl they're letting into the group reminds him of how badly it went for him last time. So I see where Mike's coming from, but he needs to take a step back and look at himself and say, don't I look just like Lucas looked last season?
Yeah. As we're saying this, I then come back to like, but he's also 12 years old.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, I realize I'm sometimes judging Mike by the standards of I would of a 35-year-old character on television. Like, what the fuck? This is like the sauce for the goose. God damn it!
Well, he's
never heard that expression.
Right. Were they saying that in the 80s? I don't even know.
Right.
Matters are made worse because this time the arbiter is stuck not in the middle but on one side, right? Him and Lucas, Dustin and Lucas are both going after this girl. Their attention is elsewhere.
I wonder
Dustin can't step back and say, look, guys, this is what's happening.
I wonder if they're going to use that fact that, like, Dustin was the one that was kind of, we talked about, he's the facilitator. He's the group's historian and myth keeper. And kind of rule enforcer. If he's off Twitter-pated, as they say in Bambi, is he going to be able to play that role as Will and Mike are kind of splitting off from the Dustin Lucas Max, I guess, axis?
Yeah, I don't see it happening. It's gonna be a problem for sure.
Yeah, it's too damn bad. But it's also super interesting, and I hope that the boys find a way. Like that would be a real bummer if this whole season they spend kind of like with a rift between them.
No, I think what's going to happen is Elle's eventually going to come back into the fold, and then everybody will be whole again except for Will, who's going to be stuck, but feeling like a freak on his own.
Do you have any? Because like I hope so too, but on the other hand, how?
Yeah, it's a fair
because
question.
all of the adults in the situation are going to be like, that is fucking Red Sonja. Get her the fuck out of here. Like they got the CIA and FBI
They'll
on
just
speed dial.
put another wig on her, I guess. I don't know.
No, she's not right. She's from Sweden, Mom.
Yeah,
This is not the same. This is not the same woman.
Absolutely love how they come back after the cold open there, with Hopper in the cabin, where Elle wants to go trick or treating, and she just comes up behind him, and she's got this sheet over her head with the eyes poked out.
Yeah.
Ghost, Halloween. yes, those are all things.
Do you think that they're going to? Because I like that scene too, and it's such a nice nod to E.T. because that's essentially the E.T. gambit.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to throw a sheet over E.T. We can take him trick or treating, and Hopper, because he hasn't seen E.T. and he hasn't had Spielberg tug his heartstrings yet, shuts it down. But they're also really portraying Hopper as jumpy. Like, he is almost drawn down on Elle. He almost drew down on a scarecrow. He almost drew down on that adorable little pumpkin girl.
Yeah.
And by the way, pumpkin girl, you try that in 2017 and you're definitely getting shot in the face.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't do that now.
I wonder if there's going to be some kind of tragic misunderstanding because he is just really wound tight.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the big secret, right?
Yeah.
He's living with Elle, I guess. I guess nobody ever asked to come over to his place.
How long does he think he can keep this going? Because
I don't know, man.
Once she gets like 14, 15, 16, she's going to be like, fuck you, old man. I can literally raise the roof with my mind here. And I'm out. Like, you try to keep a normal teenager in the house, well, let alone one with psychic kinetic powers.
I'd question whether or not Hopper lived there, and I guess... So this does not look like it's a trailer. It looks like some kind of construction, permanent construction. And I guess he lives there because we see him in the morning, we see him in the evening. It seems like he lives there, goes to work, and comes home.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I wasn't confident enough in exactly... I need to see Hopper's place at a wide angle in the daylight before I could say, oh, yeah, it's the same place, or maybe he's... maybe he sold his place and moved out deeper into the woods because I just want to get away from you, asshole. Like, I don't know.
And then I really love the Ghostbuster stuff, obviously. That was featured in the trailer, so I knew it was coming, which didn't really make it any worse. I enjoyed them arguing over who was going to be who.
And I thought, like, as I remember, we were having an off-air conversation about, like, how are they going to handle that? Because, like, I could see Lucas not being cool with being stuck with Winston for these reasons. Because Winston's obviously the fourth banana.
He is, yeah.
He's not like, and it's like, it's literally took the words out of my mouth. He's not a fucking scientist. He's not funny. He was the last one in the group. Like, Lucas is like, this is total bullshit. And then Mike is disingenuous, like, no, Winston's cool. It's like, oh, then you be Winston.
Right. I mean, if you're going for the perfect cosplay, of course he's got to be Winston. Lucas has to be Winston. But is that what they're going for here, or are they just going to have fun?
And yeah,
they're going to have fun.
And I think Lucas wants to be his hero, and his hero is not Winston. And that's funny. Like, Mike's like, I can't be Winston. It's like, why? Because he's black?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I really like that exchange.
Yeah, it was great. And then even when they get in the school and realize, oh shit, we're the only ones who dressed up. I guess everybody over the summer just grew up, huh?
I mean, that happens.
But everybody?
It does seem like that is a little... Plus...
This almost felt like a nightmare to me.
Plus, I was alive in the 80s. The Ghostbusters were fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like, I have a hard time believing in this middle school that, like, 3 kids come up with, like, a really, like, kick-ass Ghostbusters act, and, like, they wouldn't be getting dapped from even the popular kids. Like, I don't think it would be seen as, like, a
But poor zombie
thing.
boy would, because his mom just basically sewed a patch onto a potato sack.
Yeah. By the way, noticeable difference in the quality of the costume between Will and Mike. And
all the other boys, honestly.
Yeah, and you said you were surprised by it. You thought Joyce would out seamstress the other.
Karen, I think her name is Karen Wheeler.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Karen probably, when clothes get worn out or break or whatever, just probably throws them in the trash and goes and buys new ones.
Yeah, but
whereas Joyce would be adept at sewing clothes back together, I would think.
I mean, she might. I mean, you never know, because, like, talents, and I feel like Karen's the type that's got, like, this badass singer sewing machine that
Maybe.
does all the crazy thread patterns. And,
Oh, yeah.
You know, like she does it as a hobby where Joyce is like, you know, maybe she'll darn a sock, but
by hand.
yeah. And it's like, as I was watching her do it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, lady, your stitch work is shit.
Huh.
And like, you know, and you need to learn how to put on patches proper.
All right.
I wonder who made all of the backpacks, because it looks like the moms all got together because they were exact same plan, like very little variation.
Yeah.
But and also something we talked about in the preview, that ghost trap Dustin's got ain't off the shelf. Ain't that piece of shit plastic thing that you stepped on and it'll be like, that's got some engineering to it. How?
Yeah, like metal springs, and it looks like the thing itself might be metal. I can't tell.
Maybe it's a Mr. Clark special.
Oh.
Gave them the plans for it, and they because they do show that the kids are very bright, you know, with the science fair last year, and also Dustin's mom, that she seems like she's got one of the nicer houses and plots that I've seen the kids have. Like the Wheeler's no slouch, but you know, and she's got her Halloween game is awesome. Like those fucking glowing tombstones, I was so jealous of.
I'm sure you can get those or make them for sure.
They're super cool. I'd like to source where you can get those.
Yeah. So Elle's watching a lot of TV this episode, and you can see she seems to take an interest in the male-female interactions on television, specifically like the romantic ones.
Sure.
Which I think, you know, is just her trying to basically figure out what the hell to do when her and Mike are reunited. I think maybe soap operas are not the best choice for you, Elle. Don't follow the advice of those shows.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what we call emotional pornography. It's in its way just as reality distorting as the conventional types of pornography. But, you know, she's also getting a little dose of Frankenstein. Maybe it'll balance her out.
Yeah, that's true. Is there anything that doesn't give her flashbacks? Like squirrels do it. Coca-Cola does it.
Yeah, you kill squirrels with your mind and then fling them on fire in a hunter's face, and that'll certainly trigger you. What'd you say the other thing?
Coke from last season.
That's sending her on a flashback?
Yeah.
Last season or this episode?
Last season.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about now. All right, I have a very important question.
What's that?
How many goddamn pumpkin farmers Hawkins, Indiana got? Is this like the pumpkin capital of Indiana I've never heard of?
I guess so. They mentioned like 4 or 5 of them at least.
A bunch, like a half dozen, maybe more. Like every small town's got an orchard or two, or like, you know, a fall festival or two, but like this seems like it's just an extensive operation. And what does the Upside Down have against fucking pumpkins?
I don't know. It seems to start there. Like the rot starts in the pumpkins.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's not incapable of taking over trees. So like, are they going to have... I keep on waiting to see, because there has been very little kid logic, because there's not been much to figure out so far. I'm wondering if there's going to be some kind of kid Goonies logic that explains why the alien, the Demogorgon technology is assimilating the pumpkins first.
Yeah, it could be.
Mr. Clark steps out, like, we see, boys, the pumpkin seed is very high in potassium, and we'd expect a high potassium count if we ever experienced a flea walking on the underside of a tightrope wire. Like,
right.
I need that scene to explain it to me, because right now it's just kind of, it's something kind of ridiculous. These policemen grimly looking over this just terrible fly buzzing. You know, it's like a Civil War battlefield, except for instead of bodies, there's pumpkins.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean it's clearly spreading. It's getting worse. It's going to the trees and the woods. You can, I mean, it provides a very cool atmosphere though for the Halloween setting, right? Having all of these rotted things and just a little bit of the Upside Down bleeding into the real world. And you starting to get like fog and particulates in the air and maggots on the trees.
Yeah, the maggoty trees. That's kind of like, what is it about? Because, you know, maggots are all about decaying organic, like meat-based matter, right? Like, I've never seen a maggoty tree. I've seen like a termite-infested, grub-infested. I've never seen a maggot-infested one, but maybe I haven't looked in the right forest.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Mad Max a little bit.
Okay.
Her brother Billy.
Oh boy,
that is her brother, right? He's got to be. Yeah, because he's in high school. What's his damage, man? Because he almost runs over the boys. he immediately picks a fight after keg standing with Steve, which I never saw the resolution to. Like, is Billy just like, oh, Steve is the alpha male of school, so I'm going to go and intimidate him so I can become the alpha male?
No, I think it's Tommy is friends now. Of course, he's fucking friends with Billy now.
Right.
So, like, I guess.
Oh, so
how far into the school year are we here? It's
October.
like
It's pretty.
months?
It's like the first semester.
Yeah, so a couple of months in, they're best buds now. Yeah, and so Tommy goes up. Of course, he's dressed like Cobra Kai too, which I thought was awesome.
I did too. Yep. Like he's dressed like the fucking bad guy.
Right. And he goes up and he kind of prompts Billy, you know. Like, hey, we got Steve, we got a new keg stand champ, and Billy kind of threatens him.
I gotcha. I see. Now, how much of Billy trying to run over to boys influenced Max to give the boys another chance? Because I was like, they were being super creepy and whatnot, but she seemed like she was completely uninterested in any part of what they were trying to lay down. Yeah. And then her brother almost runs them over, and suddenly she Michael Myers them, which was super adorable. Mm-hmm. Seeing all the boys scream. Like, how much of that is just like maybe she's having trouble finding friends, and these are the first two that made an effort, and how much of that is just feeling sorry for these boys that were kind of vehicularly bullied by Billy?
I think it's probably both. I don't know that she goes and does the Halloween thing with him, if not for the attempted murder.
What was going on with Nancy and Steve this episode? Is the phrase in Jungle Juice truth apply here, where she's actually saying, because I think she's absolutely frustrated with Steve's strategy of like, let's just pretend. Like, I thought that was actually a really good boyfriend speech that he gave her about like, look, I get it, this sucks, but what else are we going to do? It seems like we have no options. Can't we just pretend to be teenagers for one night, or normal teenagers for one night, and then and that seemed like the comfort Nancy, but she got in there, she got a little bit too much to drink, and now she's calling everything about Steve bullshit, including the fact that they're in love. I felt like Steve overreacted a little bit to this poor traumatized Nancy being super rip-roaring drunk. But do you think that's true fact, or do you think that's
I think it's overstated. Yeah, I don't really think she honestly believes that. I think she has, suspicions. She has a certain image of Steve and questions about where his loyalties lie. Because he is very self-serving, right? Like, the first instinct he had when Nancy was going to talk about Barb, or when he found Barb was missing, is to cover his own ass.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's still sticking in her mind.
Now, essentially, he's got the federal government saying, seriously, cover your ass.
Yeah.
So, like,
he has good reason now, but yeah, I still think Nancy doesn't quite trust him, and that's why she kind of, I don't want to call it an overreaction, because I think she somewhere in her mind has those fears.
Well, she's like,
she's just expressing them as fact here, and I don't.
That scene in the library where she thought she saw Barb, I thought was pretty harrowing.
Yeah.
Like that would be a scary deal, and like how uncomfortable she was at the dinner. Like, she feels the personal responsibility for that, and I feel like that. Maybe Jonathan, like, speaking of compromise where everybody's half happy, maybe Steve could have benefited from trying to find a middle path with Nancy, because she seems like I get that, but what if we could tell Barb's parents something beyond like, well, shit, your daughter's just gone and who knows where, and like, Sheriff Hopper's got his thumb up his ass, and I feel like that at least talk it out, right? I think that's what you should do as a couple, but they're fucking young and stupid. They don't know anything.
They need to compromise.
Everybody be half happy.
Promise.
Jonathan takes Nancy home. Is this a season where they swing the triangle to his direction?
I don't know. She passes out before she can say whatever she was going to say to Jonathan It might be.
Is Jonathan's face noticeably more busted this season?
I didn't think so, but you seem to think it is.
He's got this mid-30s Ray Liotta face going on, and he's 19. Like, I get it. Last year put a lot of miles on the tire, kid, but god damn, get some sleep. Get a mud mask. Stick those teaspoons in the fridge and put them on your eyes. I had something.
Oh, so mean to poor Jonathan.
Well,
I think Jonathan, regardless of whether or not he has Ray Liotta's face 40 years from now, is one of the coolest characters on the show.
I do like
He's the guy I would like to hang out with most.
Yeah, like, I forget what Nancy said, something about, what are you going to go home, listen to, was it Talking Heads and read Vonnegut?
I don't know, maybe.
And he was like, yeah, it sounds like a good time. I'm like, fuck yeah, it does. A lot better time. Like, this party, I'm not a party guy.
No,
this is not my
this
kind of party. Like, I would have, like, walked around, I would have stepped in that door, looked around, and, like, immediately backed out.
I've been to exactly one of those kinds of parties.
Did you notice that there was, like, graffiti on the walls?
Yeah, big middle fingers and.
When your parents get home, it's like you're gonna have to put 5 boxes of toys and take them to Goodwill because there's going to be some punishment.
Poor Tina.
It was at Tina's house.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tina.
That's what you get for inviting the Lost Boys into your house.
Let's see, what else I want to talk about. I also like the fact that the guys brag to Max that they know where the full-size candy bars are.
Yeah.
When did that become a thing? Like, I've never heard of, like, neighborhoods where they just buy full-size bars.
No, as far as I know, Halloween consists of bite-sized Snickers and Milky Ways and I don't know, Smarties.
Yeah, just a grab bag, a cornucopia, like
small doses of candy.
I mean, these are small children.
Yeah,
they already like Halloween already is like some kind of fucking crazy orgy of sugar and terrible things for your teeth and body. Now you want to supersize it?
Here's what, if you really want to fuck with these kids, here's what you do on Halloween. You get full-size candy bars and you get small candy bars.
Yeah.
Like the mini bite-sized ones. And 4 kids come up to your door, you give 3 of them bite-sized ones and 1 full size.
Right. just to stir shit.
Yeah.
Like, why did he get it? Because his costume was better. Beat it.
No, don't even give them a reason. Let them figure it out.
It's like, oh no, you know. You figure it out. You could figure it out. And then that would be a pretty funny social experiment.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon said on Harmontown a couple weeks ago that one year he forgot to get candy for trick-or-treaters, and he didn't want his house to be TP'd, so he put out a bowl and he put a note that says, please help yourself, but make sure you leave enough for people to share. So, like, when people come up and see the empty bowl, they think, God damn it, those selfish-ass kids took all this guy's candy instead of... This asshole did put out candy.
Wow.
Pretty slick move if you have no soul.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Jim stroking his beard like, I think I know what I'm going to do this year.
Yeah.
What's in the trash?
That's a real good question. Do you think it's from an animal from the Upside Down, or is it just like a run-of-the-mill?
My vote is raccoon.
Animal?
As a man who's had a raccoon get stuck in his trash receptacle and has had to rescue it, they make that weird chittering noise. So I think it's going to be a raccoon or maybe a possum. A possum would be legit terrifying if you looked in and saw its demon face and naked tail and glowing eyes.
Yeah.
Possums are really fucking creepy, man.
They're weird looking.
They're like, I mean, if you just put one straight up on a Magic the Gathering card and you'd be done. It's 1/1, cost 1 black, and it's a fucking possum. That's what the flavor text says. It's a fucking possum. Deal with it.
It's got to. Well, okay, it doesn't have to be just an animal from the woods, like a raccoon or a possum. I suppose it could be something from the Upside Down, but the Upside Down does not seem to have overtaken this area of town yet. So I would be surprised if it was.
The other thing I'm sort of kind of worried about is, like, the Duffer Brothers haven't lost their mind and going to introduce an actual kind of E.T. like cutesy upside
Flight
down
of the
character.
Navigator, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like it's a threat.
Yeah.
So it's either a raccoon, a possum, or, like you said, Flight of the Navigator bullshit hanging upside down off your pinky.
Mac and me.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Now,
I don't know about that.
because that's the thing. They're like, hey, no one thought you could do something like this. Let's do it. And it worked. And now they're like, they've gone power mad. They're like, none of those things ever worked out or cool except for maybe E.T. In a family movie kind of way. So we're going to do it. We're going to put the Duffer stamp on it.
Maybe it's Falgor from the Neverending Story. There's just a mini one in there.
Yeah, they could use a luck dragon. Man, I think it's I love the massive Cthulhu creature design that Will keeps seeing in his apocalyptic visions.
Yeah, no, it's real cool.
Which I'm going to call his second Magic the Gathering reference in one podcast, Progenitus. Because it looks so much like the card art for this 10-year-old Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah.
Someone got a lot of mana on the board and tapped it all and threw this thing on and said deal with it.
We get a much better look at it this time. Yeah.
Is this a vision that, like, I'm trying to think, like, what the hell is the deal with Will? Because he says. Mm-hmm. He used this illustration about the Viewmaster, that I'm caught between these two worlds, which didn't we kind of speculate on that in the preview podcast, that he's got, like, there's some kind of there's some kind of DNA switching or something where he's able to walk between both worlds? Because I don't know that this is a vision so much as him getting a glimpse of the other side.
Yeah,
because something
I don't
also
know, it's up in the air.
Something also keeps blowing up their weather station in the Upside Down.
Right. That was the other thing we learned.
What is that? Just like a monitoring station, or?
Yeah, it seems like it's sending data back.
I would think it would be a much bigger deal when it blows up. Like maybe you send in a detachment of Marines. You don't just send a dude with the lunchbox in there.
Yeah, because if anything in the Upside Down is smart, it takes that out and waits.
Right. Yeah.
And then gets you when you come in.
Yeah, it's like a honeypot for dumbass researchers. I
don't know. I'm not sure what exactly Will's connection to the Upside Down is yet, but I assume eventually we will get more information.
Speaking of 80s nostalgia, which is like I like to call it out when I see it, I noticed Nancy was rocking on those 4-color in a single barrel pins.
Yeah.
And I don't know when they were invented, but the first time I can remember seeing them was about this time. Mm-hmm. And they're still kind of like black magic.
What do you mean? You don't know how those work?
I mean, I know how they work, but...
Okay, you never opened one up? Because that's the first thing I did when I got one of those. Is like, how the fuck does this work? And I opened it up.
Like, that's an impressive amount of plastic and spring engineering in a small package.
Yeah, it is.
And like, the other thing I understand is how it seems like the pin should have to come out at a curved angle, but it always seems like it comes out straight.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like the tip should be like noticeably cocked to one side because, you got, like I said, you've taken one apart.
Yeah, I think the bezel like straightens it out.
Does it?
But I don't know.
Because I remember like
I think it's thick enough that it does, but I'm not sure.
Interesting. Okay. I know that doesn't jive with my memory of it, but maybe we need to get another one for research.
It's been a while since I've opened one up. I wonder if they've gotten any better since the 80s.
That's a good question.
Tech-wise, how could they?
I mean...
They were pretty perfect back then.
5th color.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They have 5th color ones. I've seen them.
Really?
They have like 20 color ones, yeah.
What the fuck?
They're huge.
Is it the size of my Yeti thermos
Pretty
here?
much,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Because I've also seen...
writing with an Apple Pencil or something.
I've also seen similars, like different highlighter colors, and they are like... unwieldy.
Yeah,
it's like a D-cell mag light that you're trying to mark up a magazine with or whatever. Okay, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. You?
Nope, that's it.
All right, cool. We got to get back to it. We, of course, if you want to send us feedback, strangerthings@baldmove.com. We're going to be at this all weekend. We got one more tonight. We'll be doing 3 more tomorrow, Saturday, and then the final 3 on Sunday to get the complete coverage in. If you want to send feedback in for the final wrap-up, you can do that at strangerthings@baldmove.com. There's a separate show thread for every episode on our forums.baldmove.com if you'd like to discuss that. And we can't wait to see you on the next one. Till then, I'm A.Ron.
I'm Jim.
Bye-bye.